I guess I'm kicking it off. Thanks, Mark. Uh, My name is Jim Griffin. I am currently the chair of the Columbus Southside Area Commission. I have been a member of the commission since its inception 13 years ago. We currently have 16 commissioners, 9 represent districts, and 7 are at large. Those at large commissioners represent business, education, labor, religious social services, residents, the Parsons Area Merchants Association, and youth. Our primary responsibility, as you all know, is to serve as an advisory group to Columbus City Council, and our primary role is to hear zoning issues. However, the commission is also gives the community an opportunity to share events as well as other concerns that they have that are taking place within our boundaries. Having said that, it is my pleasure to kick off the 2021 capital budget improvements press conference. This capital budget is critical to our neighborhoods. It will provide funding for things that we can see, such as repaving of roads, new sidewalks, new recreation centers, as well as invisible services such as water and sewer. This capital budget, the monies will also help with affordable housing, which we know is a desperately needed issue here in Columbus. And the capital improvement dollars will also go towards safety improvements and economic development. Having said that, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our mayor, Andrew Ginther. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks for all of your incredible service. We're grateful for your leadership as chair of the Columbus Southside Area Commission. I also want to thank Director Joe Lombardi and the Department of Finance and Management, in particular, Kyle Sieberhart, who's joined us here today, Council President Hardin, Council President Pro Tem Liz Brown, who also chairs the Finance Committee for Council, Derek Clay, President of the Rec and Parks Commission. So grateful for all of you joining us here today. I'm excited about this budget, this capital budget, the impact it's going to make in our neighbors' lives and in our neighborhoods. We think that significant physical improvements throughout our city are important to our quality of life and the quality of life throughout the region. Affordable housing, fire stations, police substations, mental health treatment centers, streets, sidewalks, pools, parks, and community centers. These are strategic, tangible investments that benefit lives and livelihoods, as well as essential city services like water and sewer. The total capital budget for 2021 is $1.26 billion, $776.2 million in new funding, and $494.7 million in carryover funds. As I've said before, this pandemic laid bare disparities in our city. As we continue to recover, we are rebuilding in ways that ensure a more equitable, resilient, and dynamic Columbus. We want the Columbus comeback to be dynamic and inclusive, and this budget helps light that path. This requires that we not only address the most immediate issues or concerns or return to pre-pandemic funding, but rather dig deep, take a holistic view of our past, present, and future. Formulate a plan that puts people and neighborhoods first. We owe it to everyone who lives, works, and travels here to be the very best city we can be. We owe it to our children to provide a strong foundation to lead healthy, productive lives. How do we get there? By investing directly in our neighborhoods, in the people who call this city home. Some of the projects have already been announced and are included in this budget, including $10 million to begin work on a new real-time crime center that will equip officers with timely and vital information to fight crime and keep our city safe. $5 million to design and purchase land for a new state-of-the-art police substation on the hilltop, on Sullivan Avenue, one that'll feature prominent community amenities to help forge trusting ties between the public and the police, and $12 million to replace the pools at Glenwood and Douglas community centers in the Hilltop at Linden. We're also making investments to extend opportunity and help all over our neighborhoods throughout the city to help them thrive. We're excited to share those with you today. To start, we are allocating more than $35 million to expand affordable housing in Columbus and help keep more of our residents in their homes. This includes $16 million specifically for affordable housing, $2 million for housing preservation, and $350,000 for emergency shelter repairs, among many other commitments. Several factors contribute to the lack of affordable housing stock in our city, including the incredible growth we have experienced over the past decade. According to the 2020 census, our population grew by 15.1%. We are now a city of more than 900,000 residents. And regionally, our population growth accounted for 90% of the population growth in all of Ohio. A population growing this quickly and at this magnitude results in housing scarcity. And housing scarcity drives up the price of rent and home sales across the board. For some, this means the cost of rent or home ownership is simply too high. We know we must do more for our neighbors, and we are. Council President Pro Tem Liz Brown will touch on those details in just a few moments. At the same time, we're expanding and improving what is an already accessible, engaging, and dynamic park system. Derek Clay, President of the Columbus Recreation and Parks Commission, will walk you through some of the specifics, but I'm proud of the $63 million we're dedicating to developing and improving parks, playgrounds, and recreational facilities citywide. We're also providing $4.5 million for new street trees and the Urban Forestry Master Plan to expand our city's tree canopy, beautify our neighborhoods, and advance efforts to build a more vibrant, sustainable Columbus. Investing in critical, widely utilized infrastructure such as sidewalks and roadways help to support our neighborhoods as well. This budget includes $125 million for street improvements and resurfacing, and more than $22 million for sidewalk repairs and replacements. There are also elements of our infrastructure that are critical to daily life, but not as visible or sometimes taken for granted, like safe, reliable drinking water and a functioning, well-maintained sewer system. Our $668 million, more than half of this budget, is going toward these vital services, which are a significant and essential priority for our collective well-being and have never been more important as we continue to battle this global pandemic. And we're making smart, strategic investments in public safety, further laying the groundwork for a 21st century community policing model. This includes improving existing facilities, replacing those beyond repair, and providing new community resources that better meet the evolving needs of a dynamic and complex society. I already mentioned two projects that we announced last week, the Real-Time Crime Center and the Sullivan Avenue Substation. And today I'm happy to share that we are dedicating funds to design a new fire station number 36, that will be located at Central College and Harlem Roads on the northeast side, one of our fastest growing neighborhoods. And we continue to work with ADAMH, the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County, and other partners in the region to support construction of a new crisis center specifically designed for those struggling to overcome mental illness, and addiction issues. Again, with a diverse and growing population, we need additional resources to address the needs of all of our neighborhoods and to ensure their safety. And this fire station and crisis center are two examples of our commitment to provide those resources in a comprehensive and thoughtful fashion. The capital budget is a team effort spanning my administration, Columbus City Council, the city auditor, and so many others to make sure that our city is well positioned for shared progress and inclusive prosperity. To tell you more about City Council's priorities and to further discuss our investments in safety and neighborhood safety, it is my pleasure to introduce the Council President, Shannon Hart. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad to be here virtually with you today with Chair Griffin, with our President Pro Tem, Elizabeth Brown, Rec and Parks Chair, Derek Clay, and Kyle Siebert-Hart with Department of Finance. We often say what we build are the physical spaces that we as a community create are the reflection of our values. And this budget is also a reflection of our values. For City Council, one of those prime values is listening, and we've done that this year. I want to thank the mayor for listening as well and integrating council member priorities within this big citywide plan. We are proud to see the $62 million to develop and improve our parks, our playgrounds, and recreational facilities citywide, including $12 million to renovate the pools at Glenwood and Windsor Community Center, almost $60 million for roadway improvements and resurfacing, and nearly $16 million for sidewalk repairs and replacements. This is especially important along routes to our schools where kids walk every day. Given the nationwide increase in homicides this year, investing in public safety is more important than ever. That's why this budget includes $1 million with safety cameras. We have many neighbors asking for these. $10 million for Real-Time Crime Center to be located in Linden, and $5 million for a new police substation that the mayor talked about on Sullivan Avenue, and work to design a new 911 call center. $8 million for new fire trucks, $2 million for design work on fire station number 36, located at Central College at Harlem to serve residents in the far north of our city. But we also know that public safety is about more than just police and fire. That's why I'm excited to see that this budget includes more than $3 million in support for Adam H's new crisis center. As we change the way that Columbus responds to mental health and addiction, we not only need the right folks to respond to the incidents, we need the centers and partners who can help folks on their road to recovery. This budget invests in safety, it invests in neighborhoods, and most importantly, it invests in our future. And that's why, as Council President, I'm very proud to support this budget. And with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to my colleague, my friend, and the chair of our Finance Committee on City Council, President Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you so much, President Harden. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, for convening us here today to talk about the capital budget. I really appreciate the partnership of both of you I'm really sorry she walked in the door as I was talking. You need to I really appreciate the partnership of Mayor Ginther and President Harden and the patience. My goal as finance chair is to make our capital budget open and accessible to residents. These projects that you've heard detailed are some of the most direct ways we invest in our neighborhoods to support the people who live there. They're physical investments that really improve quality of life every day. And so it's important to have engagement from residents because no one is a greater expert on their neighborhood than the people who live there. I'm grateful to the area commissions and the civic associations. Thank you, Mr. Griffin, for being here today. And to everyone who volunteers their time to serve on them. Their work providing feedback to us on local priorities is an integral part of our capital budget process. I also want to thank President Harden for his partnership in setting up a series of neighborhood tours this year with local leaders to get a firsthand view of neighborhoods and their needs, again, as told through our leaders who live there and often work there and raise their families there. I'm proud to support some very large investments proposed in this budget, like sidewalks and safety improvements, street trees to continue implementing the urban forestry master plan. I know that we've got Commissioner Derek Clay here who's going to talk more about it, but street trees, as chair of the Rec and Parks Committee, are a huge passion of mine, in part because of that improvement in quality of life, but also because, and I want to be clear about this, planting new trees and increasing that tree canopy helps to bring equity to our neighborhoods. Tree canopy reduces stormwater runoff and air pollution and the urban heat island effect, and it even reduces utility costs to nearby homes and businesses. And we know that neighborhoods have less canopy coverage than others, some do, creating a disproportionate impact from climate change, and often really tracking the redlining of past decades. So that's why investments in the urban forestry master plan are so important. Additionally, another large investment that we're so proud of are investments in affordable housing. As the mayor discussed, $16 million will continue to focus on providing needed gap financing to leverage 4% low-income housing tax credit, or LIHTC deals, that were awarded in 20 and 21. We are also working with partners to support affordable rental and homeownership projects in our high priority neighborhoods like Linden. We are supporting our partnership with the Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation, or COSIC, to build more land trust houses and promote affordable home ownership throughout the city, which is key to wealth building. The budget includes funding for housing preservation through critical home repairs as well. Those are some of the large investments that make me proud to support this budget. And just quickly before I close, I want to highlight how proud I am of some of the smaller projects supported through our capital budget as well. The ongoing development. So just quickly, we have a really good feedback loop with our neighborhoods through our civic associations and area commissions to help inform what priorities we fight for on their block, down their street, et cetera. Those are what I want to call out real quickly, just a few of them. So first, the ongoing development of the Case Road Sheep Farm, requested by the Northwest Civic. Improvements to Glenwood Park and Big Run Park, requested by the Hilltop Area Commission. Streetlight improvements requested by North Linden, Livingston Avenue, and Far South Area Commissions. Storm sewer and blueprint work to help address local flooding concerns highlighted by the South Side Area Commission. So it's an honor to do that work with our commissions to include those priorities. I want to thank the departments and their staff for working on that with us. We'll continue on council to prioritize receiving and elevating feedback from residents as the city plans these investments. And our next step will be hosting public hearings to review the introduced capital budget so that we can then bring it to council meeting for passage. We'll announce the schedule for those hearings very soon, as we are excited to get this funding out into the community as soon as possible. So thank you again, Mayor Ginther, President Harden, department directors and staff, and neighborhood leaders throughout the city for your partnership in this work. With that, I'll turn things back over to the mayor.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Brown. Really appreciate all of your work and the work of your colleagues and your leadership of both finance and recreation and parks committees on council. It's now my pleasure to introduce Derek Clay, who serves as the president of the Columbus Recreation and Parks Commission. Good afternoon, Mr. Clay.
Good afternoon, Mayor, and thank you for convening us today. I'd like to also thank Council President Harden and Council President Pro Tem Brown for all of your leadership and being our liaison for the Columbus Recreation and Parks. Before we talk a little bit about the capital funding that's going to be going towards recreation and parks in this budget, I just want to remind folks of a few of the statistics around recreation and parks. We have close to 400 parks in our park system. We have 29 recreation centers. We have 8 outdoor pools, 6 golf courses, 5 athletic complexes, and we serve over, 1.7 million people on an annual basis. So we have one of the best recreation and parks systems in the country. And I'm very proud to work alongside of our commissioners and our interim director, Paul Rakowski, in making sure that we maintain that level of service for our residents. The mayor and Council President Harden and Councilwoman Brown mentioned that $62 million is going to be going towards recreation and parks in this budget. It's going to improve our park system. It's going to improve our playgrounds and our recreation facilities citywide. Very proud to announce that the 12 million is going to go to renovate those pools at Glenwood and Windsor community centers. And these are renovations that are going to be very key for our neighborhoods in Hilltop and Linden. $4 million is going to go towards street trees and to support that urban forestry master plan. And Councilwoman Brown so eloquently told you why the forestry master plan is so important. The canopy in our city also protects our city as well. It reduces carbon, and it makes sure that we have a good, healthy tree system in our communities. Not to mention the new creative campus that's going to be coming to the Old Town East area. This is going to be a brand new senior center that's going to combine the Golden Hobby and the Martin Janus centers. That's going to be at the old Douglas Elementary School. And this is going to be transformed into a brand new building that not only is a resource for our seniors in our community, but it's going to be a community park that's a resource to everyone in the city of Columbus. Not to mention the money that's going to be put forth for improvements to McCoy Park and the money that's going to go towards the sheep farm. So those are just a few of the highlights that are coming out of this capital budget. I'm so proud of it. I'm ready to support it. And Mayor, I want to thank you for your leadership and all of City Council for your leadership as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioner Clay. Your leadership on guarding recreation and parks into the future is much appreciated and a critical part to our quality of life here in Columbus. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Kyle Seaver-Hart from our finance department to discuss some of the details of the capital budget, how we came up with this figure, and the process for allocating these funds to projects. Good afternoon, Ms. Seaver-Hart.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, Council President Harden, and President Pro Tem Brown. And thank you to everyone who's able to join us today. I am the Debt Management Coordinator with the Department of Finance and Management, and I, with guidance from the Mayor and Finance Director Lombardi, am tasked with assembling the annual capital improvement budget, which ordains what projects the city plans to fund over the current year, and the 6-year capital improvement plan, which serves as a guideline or a roadmap for city funding into the future. I'm just going to give a quick bird's eye view of the 2021 capital budget that the Mayor introduced and how it's funded. First, the capital budget consists of the infrastructure improvements throughout the city: paving roads, sidewalk, park pool improvements, housing, and water and sewer infrastructure that was all discussed earlier. Under the direction of the Mayor, the Department of Finance and Management works with all of the city departments to identify priority projects. The capital budget is funded through the issuance of bonds, and in the case of public utilities, both bonds and loans with the Ohio Water Development Authority. For the public utility improvements, the bond and loan dollars are paid for by your user rates in your utility bills. All other infrastructure improvements are paid for by bonds backed by the Special Income Tax Fund, or what's commonly referred to as the 25% set aside. For every dollar of income tax the city receives, 25 cents is deposited into the Special Income Tax Fund in order to pay for improvements throughout the community. Each year, we begin with a base funded budget, and through our sound fiscal management and the city's AAA bond rating across 3 rating agencies, we're able to achieve savings and take those funds and add them back into the capital budget to fund even more improvements. So I'm pleased to say that this year we were able to add an additional $208 million to our capital budget. These dollars, along with the resources within the Department of Public Utilities, resulted in the new funding budget of the $766 million mentioned earlier. Adding in the 494 million in carryover dollars allowed us to have this $1.2 billion capital budget. So that was just a quick overview. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, for allowing me the opportunity to discuss that today.
Thank you so much for all of your work and continuing efforts in the Department of Finance specific to the capital improvements budget. And my thanks to all of your colleagues too, as well in the Finance Department. Their stellar work in completing the budget. You know, collaboration is the Columbus way. We believe we do partnerships better in our city than anywhere else in the country. And I'm so pleased to have such engaged, dedicated partners leading Columbus City Council, our departments and organizations across the community. Lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the dangers posed to this budget and to basic city services and our quality of life by the looming threat of Issue 7, which would redirect $87 million out of our general fund, or 10% of the city's general fund, including $67 million into an unidentified external group with no legislative oversight. So let me kind of put this in terms. Police and fire protection, trash collection, health services in the midst of a global pandemic, recreation and parks, all would be directly impacted if $87 million goes away from the general fund and basic city services. It goes to an unaccountable outside organization instead of to our neighborhoods and our taxpayers. This Issue 7 would crush our capital budget. And I talked to the auditor just this morning. It would put our AAA bond rating at risk. Only a few cities in America have a AAA bond rating. That rating helps to save tens of millions of dollars in interest every year so that we can put more money into infrastructure and into our neighborhoods. The breadth and depth of our facilities, programming, and personnel would shrink. Our ability to tackle both immediate and future challenges would be radically diminished. And our long-term planning and strategic priorities would be dramatically altered, and not for the better, particularly as we continue to grow as a city. The City of Columbus is a reliable steward of taxpayer dollars through sound investments, diligent accounting, and thoughtful planning. And we need every tool at our disposal to bring this capital budget to fruition and to continue our work to elevate the quality of life throughout all of our neighborhoods. Now, I'd be happy to answer a few questions. Mark, are we asking people to raise their hands in the raise hand function?
Yes, we are. We've got it enabled for them.
Great. Any questions from the press? Mark, am I not seeing any? Are there any raised hands or any questions from the press?
Nope, there have been no questions.
Well, if there aren't any questions for the press, I think we've covered and shared all the information that we wanted to today. Council President Hardin, President Pro Tem Brown, any final comments or parting thoughts?
Mayor, again, we just want to thank you for your participation or for your leadership. And we look forward to bringing this budget before council in the near future. And so I know that we'll still take some more community input before then, and look forward to passing this budget soon.
Thank you, President Hardin. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special thank you to Mark Carter, who has continued to help keep us virtual and in person and everywhere in between with DOT. Mark, appreciate all your ongoing work with council and the administration to help us stay connected, even in somewhat of this virtual environment that we're in. Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.